Welcome to Doctor Who Rewind, an unofficial and unprofessional rewatch podcast where I, Tyrese, and my friend Katie,
Hi.
watch and discuss episodes of Doctor Who, starting with the revival in 2005. Once we complete that, we'll backtrack to the 60s and talk about Classic Who. In between seasons, we'll discuss extended media, things like books, games, Big Finish, audio adventures. Katie, knock knock.
Who's there?
Doctor.
Doctor Who.
Wrong. Doctor Who Confidential. Nailed it.
Oi, let's go.
That's your fault that I did that.
Nice. Good. It's full circle, baby. It's full circle.
I hate the process of editing.
Let's just get right into it.
Yep.
And then you can always go back and...
I'm going to ask you your name then.
Redo that later.
What is your name?
Katie.
I don't need your second name.
I don't want to tell you what it is.
It's not important.
What's your name?
Tyrese, and no one will believe it ever. No one believes it. It's really annoying. Do you know what I think we should actually talk about first and foremost? How old were you when you first watched Doctor Who?
When I first watched Doctor Who, it was obviously the 2005 revival. I will have been, because I think the show in general started maybe a week or two after my 6th birthday. So I'm pretty sure I was 6. Yeah, March 17th. No.
I will say I'm pretty sure.
Is that the right air date?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
The IMDb air date for this, I'm pretty sure, is wrong. For Rose, original air date was the 26th of March 2005, not March 17th. That might be when it aired in America, but I don't know enough about it to say.
No, I'm not sure, but yeah, 2005. So Rose actually aired not long after I turned 6. So I'm pretty sure I will have been 6 when I first watched.
So you caught this episode, you caught Rose.
I didn't catch Rose.
Okay.
I first caught the Empty Child Dr. Dancer's 2-parter because I was in school one day and there was this girl who was talking about like how scary The Empty Child as like an episode had been, and I was like, oh, what's this you're talking about? And she was like, Doctor Who, it's this show. And then I was like, oh, cool. Caught it on Saturday and watched like both episodes at once. And I remember like being so amazed and astounded by the show that even though those episodes were absolutely terrifying and horrifying, I was just like, oh yeah, this is it. This is mint. Like, I want more of this every week now, please. Thank you.
I can't imagine that, obviously you've been a year older than me, that at age 6 you were watching Doctor Who, and at 6 years old you saw Rose Tyler almost dying and the Doctor being like, I think you need a doctor, and then kissing the heart of the TARDIS literally out of her body. Like, I mean, we'll get to that at some point, I guess. It's not a today
eventually
thing. But I think I was watching it since I was 6, so same age but different season. The first episode I watched was Doomsday, which is a bit inconvenient.
A great starting point.
If anyone knows why. It's because it's the last episode of that season. And I remember being like, oh, Doctor Who's on this Saturday? And my mum was like, no, it's not. And my 6-year-old brain was like, are you really going to tell me that right now?
That's like,
I need this.
That's like if it was your birthday and someone gave you like a lovely, beautifully wrapped gift and you opened it and someone just punched you in the face from the back of the box.
I'm like, oh, cool, yeah, that's on me though.
Yeah.
I should have known.
Like, trust no one, son. You know?
Trust no one. Anyways, we're rewatching the series. This is what IMDb says about this episode. When ordinary shop worker Rose Tyler meets a mysterious stranger called the Doctor, she is drawn into his strange and dangerous world. Her life will never be the same again. That is probably better than I could have worded it. Like, I could have worded it, but it would have been like, this is an episode where Rose Tyler meets a man called the Doctor. I wouldn't have been like, and her life will never be. I wouldn't have gone so dramatic.
Can you imagine it in, you know, like the sort of standard movie trailer voice from like the 2000s, where it's like the like deep man voice? Like,
in a world.
Yeah, like if you can imagine that in that voice, then I'd say it's like a pretty good intro.
It's very naughty, isn't it? It's very like it's a very naughty thing. Written by Russell T Davies and directed by Keith Boak, whose name will come up probably quite a bit, to be fair.
I really like that part where it says stars Christopher Eccleston. Yeah, obviously, of course. Billie Piper. Yep. Camille Cuduri. Love of my life. Like,
is that how you? Oh, like for real? You like?
Yeah, like I really think that's. I think that's great.
This one was 44 minutes. which is shorter than New Who episodes, which tend to push 50. And boy, do I feel that 6 minutes now more than ever.
They do now. Ooh.
What did you think in general, before we go specifics of this episode?
You know what? I think it's hard to judge this episode on its own because it's like, it's the starting point of a whole show. It's not just like, you know.
I don't think, I mean, you probably can more than me in terms of like empathy. I can't come in and look at this from I've seen classic Who, so I kind of know what to expect, and I have an expectation set already.
See, that's true. I mean, like,
whereas you've seen a lot of that stuff.
I've seen a lot of that stuff.
All of that stuff, I guess.
Almost all of it.
Oh, okay.
I do have some gaps. But I did watch this first. I think around the time I was watching Doctor Who, like as a kid, I think I saw 2 classic Who episodes that were just kind of on TV at one point. I remember it was only after I'd stopped watching the show and then went and sort of got back into it that I went into classics. I still have like some of the...
I remember hearing about classic Who and being like, black and white? No, thank you. I'm young and hip. I could never subject myself to something that just did not have colour in it.
Aspect ratio.
Oh, 4:3?
Wow.
Why is it in
It's
it?
like the Snyder Cut.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Episodes that, you know,
Snyder
split
Cut
into
was
parts.
Also, wait, was the Snyder Cut was in black and white too?
Oh, yeah.
It
there you
was,
go.
yeah.
Full circle.
Didn't need to be, but it was.
It didn't need to be a lot of things that it was.
Like 4 hours long.
Yeah. And all of the other things.
As an introductory episode to the show, where because it can't do everything it wants to do, it's not allowed. It has to introduce you to people before it can be like adventure, blah, blah.
Yes.
But I think it did a good job of that opening scene with the lottery money and the well said. That's my impression of Billy Piper.
That's perfect.
Forever. So for the next 2 seasons of Doctor Who, whenever I do this, well said.
I have one from the series 1 finale, which we'll get to.
We will.
But
we'll watch it.
I have a little Billy Piper moment that I love to do from that episode. All in love, of course, because I think Billy Piper's great as Rose. I accept.
No, she is. She's really good. Yeah.
I accept that like Rose Tyler is maybe a little bit problematic, but I like her still, nevertheless.
I only think it was on. Not this rewatch, the one before it, that I also started this year. But here I am.
the one you've just finished.
Doing it again to discuss. But that was like the first time I was like, hang on, she's 19. But I think that's because I have pure baby face, and whenever I looked in the mirror at 19, I was like, I don't look how I should look. And even now at 22, I look in the mirror and I'm like, that's not how someone of my age should look, ever.
See, the thing that like got me is when I realized I'm older than Rose Tyler now. Because I remember when I was a kid, 19 was like, whoa.
That's so far away.
Yeah. Like that, when they go to the Van Statten's museum, and I can't remember what year that's set in.
It's like 2030 or something like that, isn't it?
It's...
Because it's 2005, so it might be 2020.
I don't know. I know it's some year that's been now though.
It's a
and it's
number.
Like it's jarring to think that's like the near future, and now the near future has passed, and the future that we are in is horrifying.
Yeah, it's like Back to the Future 2 is set in 2015. That's gross.
I didn't get to hover convert my vehicle into a Skyway flyer.
You don't have a vehicle?
No, I know. It's not worth it, is it? If I can't hover convert.
Like Billy Piper as Rose is really good. And I also think because I was 6, I was like, a pretty girl.
Pretty lady.
Because what had happened was I'd caught Doomsday, saw no Doctor Who for the rest of the year. And then at Christmas, my mum's friend bought me the season 1 box set, which I like binge watched before.
Oh, of course.
Before the phrase was a thing.
Of course.
Absolutely shat bricks at The Empty Child. I was like, this isn't okay. Finished the season, and then even though I hadn't seen all of season 2, I'd only caught the last episode. Then season 3 aired, so I watched that. And then the Christmas after season 3 aired, my mum's friend bought me season 2. So I had to wait a whole year and another season
to find out
what happened.
happened.
What happened to Rose after the parting of the ways. I was like, oh, I guess, Martha, hi. Shat myself at Blink too. And I was like, this show doesn't know whether to make me laugh or scream.
It's just like fear, 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 fear. Emotional payoff.
Yeah. Except I was 6 and I had to wait 12 months for an emotional payoff.
Yep.
Opening scene is in is it like one shop? I feel like it's not one shop. It must be like a little mall thing.
Yeah,
right?
I think it is supposed to be like a John Lewis type department store.
Oh.
That's sort of like where they have clothes and furniture and stuff, and there's probably like a little cafe in there. Henrik's department store.
Oh, okay.
That's what it's called. I don't think.
I don't remember that.
I don't know if it's like a pun. Like a play on.
Yeah.
All right.
That
okay.
Would make sense.
Yeah.
Actually, you were going to say something else.
I take it back.
You're going to say something.
No, I don't know if it's that or what, because I don't know if that is a real shop. But you fooled me. Yes, it is.
So we were going through these episodes and making notes. I wrote that, and I'd never heard this before, that when she is up in the place looking for Wilson, the Nestine is whispering to her. You can hear whispers coming from inside the room, and I'd never noticed this in any of my rewatches. I was like,
I didn't notice that. Is it just like the whisper noise, or is it like
in
words?
there and it's like, and like it's
freaky.
it's not fun. Either that or I'm delusional and I'm hearing things. But I'm pretty sure that there is whispers when she goes in there, and even though they don't really come back in this fashion, I love the stiff like auton movement thing. Is really good. I'm like, it's so creepy and freaky, and I hate mannequins. I actually wrote down, fuck mannequins, man. That's my second note of this episode is fuck mannequins, man.
Fuck mannequins.
Fuck mannequins.
The thing that gets me about like Wilson, and like I know that the Rose novel exists, and I know that like the shooting scripts exist and stuff, but they say that Wilson's the chief electrician,
which we'll look at,
right? And then I'm like I might get my payoff to this eventually, but they say he's like the chief electrician. But then Rose goes down into the basement, which is what looks like just extra storage. But then also she's got like the lottery money for him, and it's just like maybe all of this like does make sense.
Imagine being like,
but they just seem like a strange combination of
given
things.
like the lottery. Like all those responsibilities are left up to him.
And he just hangs out in the.
It's not like it's not the boss. It's not like a co-worker that's on the shop floor. It's like the electrician is doing the lottery.
Like, why does the electrician have a creepy little basement room, little subterranean mole man type situation?
Everyone has one.
Yeah.
Every electrician ever needs every electrician needs a cave. Okay. What did you think of this opening scene? Introduces Christopher Eccleston's Ninth Doctor.
Are we just getting explicitly into that? Because I have a note from earlier, but I don't think that's relevant.
Go to it.
Just that, I'll get into it sort of later, I guess, because I have another point about it.
Does it come back?
It does come back, but the first thing that I wrote down was just, what kind of meal deal do you think Mickey's eating with Rose?
Oh, in the little montage. I forgot about there's a montage at the beginning.
Yeah, she's got a bag of crisps and there's a bottle of Oasis.
This is going to be all over the place. I don't have a single line stream of consciousness thought. It's just just a branched out.
Yes.
I like that little montage. I mean, it's good at going like, oh, she has a life before this. She has a boyfriend. Like it does a good job of going like, hey, she's got a boyfriend, but don't worry, she'll abandon that soon. And by soon, I mean in 44 minutes.
So you know what? All right, if you just said it. That is what my note was, because this is like obviously the very first time that you see them. I'm like, what kind of relationship do they have?
Yeah.
Because obviously they are dating, but
I'm seeing Claire de Lune. Isn't that what he says in Boomtown? And she's like, oh, she's a bit. And then she gets fattest about it. We'll get there. there. I'm not going to go off about this now. Fatphobic Rose.
But like he's definitely way more into her
than she
is into him.
Yeah. I mean, we see that when she walks into his house and he's like...
Gives her a little tap.
A little love tap.
Little tap on the bum.
I got mad at one thing of this opening scene.
Which was?
The suspense of the big karate chop of the Orton. When she's against the wall and he goes like... Meh, with his arm and he creaks. And that's when the doctor comes in and he just goes...
Run.
And he grabs her and he's like, run. And because I've seen the episode before this, obviously... All I was thinking was like, you've got a gun in that hand.
Yeah.
Why are you like, I'm going to chop the fuck? You could have been like, and she'd have been like, ah, and that'd have been it. Roll credits, end of
When she
season
makes
1.
like a Minecraft fall damage noise.
Oh, and then
What would that do? He's made of plastic.
what would what do?
If he did hit with the karate chop, it wouldn't have killed her.
She's like, what? Why did you do that?
You know? Because like after she moves, I'm pretty sure when they chop down, he
Yeah.
like slices through the end of a pipe.
Oh yeah,
And I refuse to believe that he would
yeah.
have just sliced Billie Piper in half.
Oh my god, imagine. It's like a hit her, like, and she's like, oh god.
So when like the boys logo like comes up on screen, you're like, oh, is that the kind of show?
I've never seen The Boys, so I don't know how that works.
That was an absolutely hilarious joke. That's so funny.
I'll take your word for it. I'll take your word for that.
Don't
yeah,
take
so-
it anywhere.
so
Other
the
people
doctor-
would see it.
The doctor runs in with his ears, grabs her, and he's like, run. And they go, and they jump in, they get chased, like properly chased by these plastic men. And then they get into the lift,
Mm-hmm.
and he rips the arm off one of the Ortons. It might be Alan Rusko. I don't know. It could be David Sant. It could be Paul Casey. It could be Elizabeth Fost. I'm going to butcher all these names. Could be Helen Otway. Could be Holly Lumsden. Could be Saul Murphy. It's
not
It's
Joe
definitely not Joe
Osmond.
Osmond.
Lisa Osmond. Oh, they must have been twins.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, I assume they still are twins. I don't.
Yeah, we both changed. Okay. And then Ellen Thomas, who I suppose...
Oh, was also a weeping angel.
A Weeping Angel,
from the looks
judging
of
by
things.
the IMDb picture there. But he rips the arm off and on, and Rose is like, they are students. And you know what? It's one of the things that I like and dislike about this episode is that the Doctor is like, that's a logical conclusion. Yeah, I see how you got there.
Yeah.
But then later on, he's like, oh, you Rose, you fucking idiot. You wouldn't even understand my little blue box. You wouldn't even get it. Like later on, he's like, you wouldn't understand. You're a smelly ape. But, yeah, but he does these praises like, oh, that's a pretty clever and natural formed conclusion. And I kind of like that because clearly he's not been around people for a hot minute. I feel like that's quite clear from the way that he
what
comes
does
off.
she say that when he's like, oh, you stupid apes?
It's when they're outside talking on the bridge.
Yeah, and I know the scene that you mean. I just don't know, because I'm like, maybe contextually it's different. Maybe like
I mean,
I get that he's mad, but I mean like maybe she does say something that sounds kind of dumb. Not that that's like a justification for him kind of being a dick for a second or whatever, but like to him.
Yeah, no, I didn't write down the specific quote or scene because I'm a terrible person and I might just be completely unfounded in what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I'm fine with making mistakes. This is not going to be perfect. Here's something that I liked about this opening scene.
Yes.
It finishes off with a sneaky TARDIS.
I have a note about that, which says
She just walks past it, doesn't she?
Yeah, she looks at the explosion and then she turns around and then she runs away with the hand
Yeah, with the hand on her.
past the TARDIS, and they do a little woo. I don't know if that's the exact one, but they do the little woo bit, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that is like legitimately as an actual sort of criticism. I think that's really good.
No, I do. I think
Like
that's...
it makes me happy. It makes me excited. I'm just
because
like,
if
yeah,
someone who
Rose.
hasn't seen the show is looking at that and going, why is there a fucking...
Yeah,
Like, why
right?
is... Like, if you thought there's nothing untoward about it, the music is the thing that goes like, look.
You're like, this will be important. Like, you know, like when you play like a Telltale game or something, and it comes up in the corner, and it's like,
No, I have taste.
you know, well, not specific. All right,
Okay.
okay,
Yeah, it's like, this is an object of interest.
yeah.
It
It does the like little. This action will have consequences, you know.
Rose wakes up the next day, right?
Mm.
And he is, because obviously she's alive, she made it out, so she's obviously
Yeah.
she's gonna do that. It's one of my favourite things in the world. Jackie's like, what are you getting up for? You've got no job to go to. And I'm like,
no,
oh.
she's such a mum.
Yeah.
Like,
I absolutely love Camille Kajuri as Jackie. It's
she
so
is
good.
amazing. She really is.
In every performance, I can't think of one episode where I'm like, not today, Jackie.
I've listened to a couple of the Big Finish
Finish.
stories that have her in them.
I've never heard a
and-
single one.
Oh my god, there's one, like, I do not remember it super clearly, which is a shame because like I remember enjoying it. But it's like I think it's a 10th Doctor
Yeah.
box set. and something's going on with like the Doctor and Rose, and they're doing, you know, like one little adventure, and then Jackie gets her own little sort of side story in it. And it's really good. Like, it's just proper entertaining. And there's a couple of things that she says that I'm like, oh yeah, that's like a proper.
I'm just gonna say
proper Jackie thing.
I'm not even gonna apologize for it, but she carries the ever loving fuck out of Love and Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
And here I am flashing in my knickers. Like, how is she not just brilliant every time she shows up?
It's when she like spills the wine on him, and she's like, "Oh, I ruined your shirt," and he's like, "Oh, sorry," and she's like, "Take it off." It's like straight to it.
Yeah. But I just wrote that Jackie is a gossipy mother immediately, and I love her for it.
It's her.
Like, when she's on the phone and she's telling everyone, "Ooh, you can get compensation." She's like proper in it for the money.
Because it's that bit. It's like, I think that she's walking out of the scene. I think it's when Rose first gets back, and she's on the phone. Like, Mickey comes in as well. And you can hear in the background, and she goes, "She was seconds from death," and it's proper. Just, I'm not doing the accent because, you know,
like, she's proper.
But like, she's proper, and it's like, Jackie, what the fuck, like.
She's like trying to get secondhand sympathy from other people. Like,
yeah.
Oh, Jackie, is your daughter okay? And Jackie's like, oh, I needed this.
You know, you would know that if none of the Doctor stuff happened, if it just had actually been an explosion at work, there would be months later where Jackie would be like, "Hey, you know, our Rose."
At the house afterwards, Rose throws the hand at Mickey. He's like, "Hey, get rid of this." He goes and takes it out. No, that was the night. When does he get that? Is it the same day?
She comes back. He comes to see her. And he's like, "Oh, you know, you need something stronger than a tea." And she's like, "Is there a match on?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Go on, go to the pub." And then she like chucks it at him, and she's like, "Take it back, yeah."
Yeah, it crawls back in after that. And I love this because it's not actually a jump scare because it doesn't work, but just the Doctor's face at the cat flap. I like it. I'm just like, oh, there he is. There's the man. And he comes in, and this is another like subtlety, I guess, for classic fans, because it wouldn't have really done anything to me at the time, but like now, knowing the premise of the show, that like the Doctor is fresh from regeneration.
Yeah, like it's
he is looking at himself in the mirror. He's looking at his ears, and he's trying to do like weird card flourishes, and he's like, "Well, that's not me. Clearly, my coordination's off."
There's a little bit in the Day of the Doctor novelization about that, which I won't.
We can talk about it.
I was gonna say it's just this one part, and like I don't know if anything else contradicts this canon wise. There's a part where, well, I don't know how canon the target novels actually are. There's a part in that where it says that, like, because after doing all the War Doctor stuff, that he was so like emo about all of that he like smashed every mirror in the TARDIS because he didn't want to look at the man who like ended the Time War or whatever.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That bit in Rose that is like the first time that he is actually like seeing this new face in the mirror. Which like I like that as like a fun little bit of lore. Yeah. Like I think it's cool.
He has emotions every so often. Not more recently, but it's fine. We'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get there. So the Doctor shows up. What's his cover story? He says that does Rose say that he's here with the insurance or to take a statement or something like that?
I think she says something about insurance because Jackie's like, "Oh, she deserves compensation," and the Doctor's like, "Oh, we're talking millions."
Yeah.
Also, can't believe we just completely glossed over the whole like, I'm in my dressing gown.
No, we haven't. I was about to get to it.
There's a strange man in my bedroom.
I have a written note here in all caps that says, "Jackie is horny," and underneath I wrote, "Silly Doctor for shooting her down."
Right.
And I'm not saying that in like a, ooh, have sex with her way. I'm just saying that Jackie Tyler is a bamf, just a badass motherfucker every time we see her. And I would actually not be mad if there was a full season where Rose got kidnapped and Jackie was the one that was trying to help the Doctor find her for a whole season, and Rose just wasn't there, and Jackie is just in the TARDIS being like, "So what does that button do?" And the Doctor's like, "Oh my god, please be quiet."
Do you know what
just getting on his nerves.
Do you know what I like is like a fun little sort of like bit about Jackie is that nothing from space impresses her. Because like
the magnet clamp, she's like, "I could use that on my shop."
And you know that bit when I think it's the start of the episode where, you know, Rose brings her a gift and Jackie's like, "All right," and puts it down, and Rose is like, "Oh, I brought her a bazoolium," and she doesn't even care.
Yeah.
And that just like, if that did happen, if Jackie did get to go on a proper trip in the TARDIS, the Doctor would be like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna go see this like beautiful planet," and Jackie's like, "All right, yeah." And then they get there and he's like, "Oh, what do you think?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, it's nice that."
She'd be looking around.
Just proper just like, "Oh yeah, that's good, yeah."
She'd be trying to find a kiosk on Skaro that sells Blackpool style rock.
Jackie wants like
a holiday souvenir. It's just a jar of rock.
She's got a fridge full of magnets from like Raxacorico Phalopatorius and all that.
Postcards.
What episode is it?
Sending you love from Clom.
Yeah, I was gonna say that bit like The Girl Who Waited, where they're like Clom, like Disneyland Clom or whatever, and like Jackie goes there and she's like, all right.
Oh, I would love that. But the little, it's a good little bit. It just tells like, there's a strange man in my bedroom. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm in my dressing gown. Yeah, anything could happen. No.
I like how
And
when
then
he walks away as
continues
well, like
walking.
she gives him a little like a little like, all right, fuck you.
The
sort
equivalent of an
motion.
"I'll get you" gadget.
Yeah. She's like, the meddling kids.
I wrote down because then the hand attacks.
Yes.
The hand does attack them, and it's a very easy thing to do, is to hold a mannequin hand to your neck and pretend like it's choking you. And I just wrote that just looks super fun to me. Like being on set and be like,
I could not imagine how unbearable you would be.
Me?
If you
Specifically.
If you got your hands on a mannequin arm, you would be so unbearable with it. Like the bit potential that unlocks.
Yeah. I don't like
for your silly little jokes.
It is currently the 27th of October. This is obviously going to be out like way after Halloween. We're going to try and work 3 or 4 weeks in advance. It's going to be well after that.
Yes.
But I was going to try and get a fake arm if I was originally going as Georgie because he's missing an arm.
Yeah.
I was going to do that. So, I mean, I'm not
See, like,
now. I'm obviously not doing that. But I almost had a fake mannequin arm. And even after Halloween, I wouldn't have been like, well, that bit's done now. I would have carried that shit everywhere.
I say this, I think it would have been hilarious. Like, I would have loved the bit. It would be one of those jokes that, like long after everyone else has gotten over it, I still get a little kick out of it because my sense of humour is on like a 2-month delay.
After this is the scene where they're both walking along,
There
talking about
is.
Earth, and he's trying to explain who he is, and he doesn't vaguely. He's vaguely explaining who he is.
And when they're going down the stairs, he has a line where he says to her,
she's like, you can't just wander off.
And he goes,
like,
yes, I can. Yes, I
this
can.
Is me wandering off.
Oh, I fucking read, yes, I can. Here I am. This is me swanning off. And like, superb.
That's great. You can't just go swanning off. Yes, I can. This is me. Here I am, swanning off. And you can't see him, like, just because the shot is so far back and it's like the whole staircase. It's shot from outside. It's clearly done.
Like ADR.
Yeah. Like, and I can just, even though I know that he won't have had to do it, I can imagine Christopher Eccleston doing a little head wobble. Here I am, swanning off.
Yep.
Like, proper giving it the old shake of the head.
Putting a little bit of attitude on it.
But then they go outside. This is when you roasted the piss out of Rose's fashion sense. Not Billy Piper's fashion sense.
No, Billy Piper is impeccable in every sense. But Rose's outfit, listen, I don't know how she looked at any single piece of that outfit and went, these are good and I am going to put them on together. And like, I can't talk because like,
You were 6.
Yeah.
But like, think of some of the horrible and shocking dumb shit that like parents put you in when you're
Think
a
about
child.
some of the shocking and dumb shit I put myself in now as an adult who dresses myself every day.
That's true.
Like, I'm no better, but
you do look awful.
Yeah.
Almost constantly.
Almost.
It's actually kind of impressive.
And it's almost comical as well.
Yeah, how do you do it, by the way? What's your secret?
It's
What's
piss.
your secret? Oh, it's piss. Oh.
I'm doing that bit.
What do you make of this scene of them walking?
I think it is the absolutely perfect encapsulation of Doctor Who.
This one scene.
It's like
this
a mission statement.
If you had to like,
Mm-hmm.
this is it for you. This is the scene for you.
If you could only see one scene of Doctor Who to be like, who is the Doctor and what does he do? It's this. At least for like,
when he's like, I can feel the earth beneath
yeah,
my feet.
at least for the Christopher Eccleston Doctor anyway.
Oh yeah,
like,
definitely.
Obviously down the line there are some like personality changes and shit. That scene for me is like, oh, that's look, he's saying all of the things that you need to know about him.
Yeah, for me, I really like. I don't know what it is she says to him, but his response is that supposed to sound tough, and I love it.
When she's like, you told me if I told people that I would get them killed. Isn't that it? And then
something along those lines. But he's like,
yeah, and then she's like, oh, I'll start talking or something.
Yeah, and he's like, is that supposed to sound tough? And she's like, yeah. And obviously, if you're a first-time viewer, you still know that there's something about this dude. Like, you know that there's going to be something there. But if you're a Classic Who viewer, you're like, oh, this dude's done so much that is a nothing threat to him. That's absolutely zilch to what this man is made of. And then he's like, oh, I can feel the earth. And I know that you said this is a perfect scene. I know what you just said. I'm not going to combat that. I do think it's a great scene. I do think it's great writing. But if someone I barely knew told me they could feel the earth moving beneath their feet, I'd be like, all right. And then I would walk away. There's no way that I'd be like, I'm going to indulge this conversation so much more.
Do you not think that, like...
Maybe out of curiosity, I'd be like,
after
I
everything...
can hear this person out.
Like, this guy has basically saved your life. If you are Rose in this situation, he's already, like, basically saved your life.
Yeah,
like,
that's fine.
He gets a pass to say some weird cryptic shit.
Oh, yeah, no, he does.
he
But
gets a one-time weird pass for that.
But I'm just saying, if someone tells me that the earth moves extremely, like, you know, it goes around real fast, and not only that, I can feel it, I would probably be like, what are you on? And
crack.
Is there any left?
It's
crack. Gallifrey crack. Gallifreroin. No.
Give me a ganja frey. No. Sorry for that. That was awful.
Raxicoricophalapat meth. Another thing that I love about this episode is like they go back to can I use your computer to Mickey and reconnaissance and stuff.
Oh yeah.
She just types in
the word doctor.
She types in the word doctor and there's no GPs.
No.
There is not one.
No.
Everyone's like alien. And that is it. That's the whole thing. She types in the word doctor and all of a sudden there he is. And no, that's not where he is. The Clive shows up with the most...
But what does she type in for that? Which, by the way, apparently, as far as 2020, that website was still supported by the BBC, you know? The website, I think it was like...
Should we check if it's still there?
Let's go. I think it was like www. Who is Doctor Who or something like that. Like, who is the Doctor? Something.
So, we are on whoisdoctorwho.com.
Johnny, he just ran past my house.
No. I was visiting the ruins of Pompeii, and I saw him. I said, terrible what's happened here, wasn't it? He looked at me and he said, well, I tried to warn them. No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. I've seen you go, we can't say anything, shit. Clive, I've just stumbled across your site and I thought you should hear this. My daughter Bella was born on the 27th of November 2004. The day before, a man matching the description of this doctor walked up to me as I was helping my wife into the car and whispered, put this on your daughter as soon as you hold her. It'll come in useful in the future. He shook my hand. In my palm I found a small silver cross on a chain. He smiled. No, he grinned. I pocketed the cross and we continued on to the hospital. I placed the cross on Bella as soon as I held her. I have a feeling she's going to need it. That's Ian UK. Is that a reference to something?
Don't scroll anywhere. Bugs Nixon. I saw him in Asda in 1979 buying up all the Star Wars figures. The one at the top. Yeah, your only option is to contact Clive.
Contact us. Here's all the signs. Imagine there was an email at the bottom. Direct to Russell T Davies' actual inbox. I've seen him! He was browsing through the drum and bass CDs in HMV last Tuesday. He asked my advice about them as he was buying a present for somebody. I told him that the best CD in the whole world was Ultra by Depeche Mode. He didn't end up buying anything though. I think his credit card was rejected.
Oh my god. This is amazing. I wonder who wrote this.
Right, we'll go through all of these at some point. But there's Clive. Clive's website.
Yep.
Clive is played by Mark Benton. What do we think of Clive?
I really like Clive.
Clive is like an expositional guy for the audience. Is just he's like an exposition drop, but I think it's just done really well. As a conspiracy theorist man who's just...
I think he falls into the... Because I have a few things to say about Clive, actually, like, sort of points, I guess.
Go off then. Just go off.
But, like, I like Clive as a character.
Yeah.
First of all, his family is just so rude to Rose for no reason. When that kid opens the door and he's like, oh, Dad, it's one of your nutters. And then that woman down the stairs, and that woman, probably his wife, yeah. That woman. And she's like, she's like, oh, she's read your website and she's a she. Like, they're so mean to the stranger just coming into their house. And I assume they've had people come there before.
Also mean to his own dad and her own husband.
That's true, yeah.
And Clive actually says something along the lines of, oh, come with me, I'm in the shed. Like
but he's like, that's me, I'm in the shed.
If you're doing your Doctor Who thing, you're going in the shed, okay? If you're doing the whole Doctor thing, you're in the shed for your conspiracies.
That'll be us.
Are we going to get put in a shed?
When we get shed money.
Shed money.
One day we'll make it big, kid. Here's a point that I had, and where did I write it down? Which is when she leaves his house, she goes outside and she goes back to Mickey in the car and she was like, oh, you were right, he's a nutter and all this kind of stuff. because when she was in the shed before she stormed out, he is saying to her that, you know, like,
It's danger wherever
the
he
doctor's
goes,
constant companion is death. All of this thing, there's something bad going to come. He
Very
does this
dramatic.
whole like scary little monologue to her, and then she comes out and she's like, "Yeah, you're right. You know, he's crazy. All this kind of stuff. He's mental." It sounds like she kind of actually thinks that.
I don't know. I've always gotten like a vibe of, at least from that, of like a, okay, yeah, you're right, because I don't think Mickey was happy
Not
about
too
her
pleased.
going there.
No,
In
like
the ugliest fucking yellow, horrible, beeswaxy looking car in the world. Oh, what a horrible car they drove there in.
if one of my mates had a car like that,
Would you find yourself?
I would destroy them for it.
Oh,
I'd
I
be
thought
like-
you were like, I would destroy their car.
I would be like, this is the ugliest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. How are you driving this around the streets with the pride that you are? So either Mickey has no friends, or they're all liars.
That's a very good point. Yeah, it's just being like, I got a new car today. Oh yeah, where is it? It's outside. Yeah, where? No, where is it? Is it behind the yellow Beetle?
You guys.
You're never gonna fucking believe
Guys.
this. It's it is the Beetle. What? I said it is the Beetle. What? I said it is the Beetle. I like Clive's exposition. I think it's good, and again, it's that logical thing of, it's a title that's passed down from person to person, and I'm like, yeah, that doesn't, like, it doesn't make sense that they're identical. Obviously, there is a look of people from generation to generation, like, it just, in science, that happens. But I do like that, like, that is the logical conclusion that you would come to. But have you only noticed this with Eccleston's face? Of
Well,
all the other doctors, they've also been
He says
all through
to her,
history.
like, that's your doctor. And he doesn't show up and he's like, this is your one, isn't it? Or whatever. And
oh,
she's like, oh yeah.
no, yeah.
Because
right.
there is a part
I'm a bad person.
in the novelization where we'll
We'll get to that. We'll do one on that
Yeah.
too at some point, because I haven't read that.
it's such a virgin sentence in it.
I read the novelization
Actually, I
of
like
this
to-
episode.
Glasses up, but like
You're gonna actually the fuck out of me in every time we do this.
Horrendous.
You're gonna actually the hell out of everything I say, and I am fine with that.
yeah. Clive has other stuff about other doctors as well, and it's
Yeah.
just a fun little bit to be like, look, it's the other ones. Look, it's fan service, and like, you know. It's fun because, you know, realistically.
But don't focus on those too much, because we're moving on. It's 2005. We're in the future now.
The thing that gets me about that I thought, like, I didn't think it was worth writing down, but I am like, wouldn't there be some pictures of Rose in there because of time travel rules?
I mean, that's how Clara gets got. But we'll get to that. He is like a cinematic-ish thing that I enjoyed because it was silly. And a lot of the stuff that I think me and you are both going to talk about, like it's not going to be legit criticism. It's going to be, this is silly and I like it because it's silly.
Here is why
It's a
silly
silly little
science
time travel
show is
box
good.
show. Yeah. Is when Mickey is getting attacked by a wheelie bin, which is a
my
sentence.
god.
There's like, do you? I'm just gonna ask this. Do you know what a dolly zoom is?
I believe so, isn't it? Where like you do on the
You zoom in manually whilst pulling away.
Yeah.
And so you get this like depth of field weird effect. I think it was used in like Jaws and stuff when he realizes there's a shark in the water and the beach goes like, woo. Yeah. But there's a dolly zoom between the bin and Mickey right as Clive is telling her about how death follows them, like follows the doctor. And I was like, as much as it's like silly, I really like it. I'm like, oh, there's a cool, like, you don't get many interesting camera shots in TV. But that was cool. I was like, oh, a dolly zoom followed immediately by this like dimly lit place in Clive's shed where he's like, and the death follows the doctor everywhere. And I was like, I really like this. This little like, here's how dangerous the doctor is, and she doesn't even know it, but outside her boyfriend is getting like wheelie binned to death. Terrible effects, but I love it.
See, controversially,
thing.
maybe, I don't think that scene is awful. I think the sound effects are kind of awful. And I think some of the silly faces are awful.
Yeah.
But like, imagine it if the bin didn't do a burp after it swallowed him, you know? If he didn't do his little fun spaghetti fingers trick and he didn't like do a little burp and had a little snack. But also, where does he go? Does the bin then wheel itself away with Mickey inside it?
Bin.
Bin?
Bin.
Yeah.
You asked where he went. I'm giving you an answer. Bin.
Oh, right. First of all,
Bin.
yeah, in the bin. But, like, does the bin wheel itself
Where
away?
Noel Clark belongs. As I was saying, bin.
So anyway.
Yeah, he's in the bin. And then she gets into the car.
So anyway, he's
in the bin. And so Rose comes out and she's like, yeah, it was a nutter, gets in the car. And I don't know how long they're meant to have been together, but the fact that
she does not notice.
She has no idea.
Yeah.
That he is just completely smooth everywhere.
Yeah.
He's clearly painted. He's
probably plastic to the touch.
Yeah.
As well, you know?
What's your skin routine? Death. Bin. And then we get the best line of the episode. Do you know what it is? It's a single word.
The old pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah. I also like it when he's like, oh, sweetie, babe, darling, babe, sweetheart, babe.
I hate that.
See, that's the part where I'm like, Rose, you do not care about this man.
That's the equivalent of Dory going, do you? And I'm like, whoa, back the fuck
no,
up.
I hate it. Don't get me wrong.
I don't want it.
It's horrendous, but like, she does not, like, Mickey could wheel himself over to her in a wheelchair one day because he, like, lost his legs or something. And Rose would just be, like, looking for him at eye level.
Yeah.
She wouldn't even notice.
Yeah, she'd be like, oh, he's not around. He's in the bin.
He's in the bin.
Mickey's in the bin. But the fact that she doesn't notice is really bad. And then the doctor shows up. Champagne?
And then
no, thank you.
He develops sentience really quickly.
Who, Mickey?
Yeah, because he's in the car and he's like, pizza.
And then he's like, tell me about the doctor.
Yeah, and then he gets there and he's like, I can form a sentence now.
Yeah. And, I mean, it kind of makes sense for Mickey to be like, hey, tell him about the doctor. I mean, like, he doesn't know much yet, does he? So, as far as we know, Rose hasn't told him much yet about what she's doing. So, it would make sense in the restaurant for him to be like, oh, so who is this person that you're... Obviously, he words it completely wrong because he's not him.
Yeah.
And then the doctor shows up. And the doctor is a man of strong morals. He doesn't like violence. He doesn't like guns. But if he had a bottle of champagne everywhere he went, and just watch them...
The doctor does not approve of violence unless it's Looney Tunes inspired cartoon fun.
That's
you know,
true.
like this guy will think it's funny to push you off a cliff as long as you do the like leg spinny thing.
If you're in the air for a few seconds.
If you air run before you fall at your doom, the doctor says that's
know.
fine.
I mean, I was going to say, it's like when you draw the cave on and Wile E. Coyote or Roadrunner goes into it. And then I realised this has been done in Doctor Who already. The fact that for some reason he like corks him in the head and then Mickey's like...
He's like...
He goes like... as he's chewing it. And then it's like... I don't... Who is it that gets it first? Does Mickey just like go like, I'm going to start killing? Or is he like run and then he gets Rose out and then Rose is trying to get everyone else out?
I think Mickey gets up and then the doctor grabs him and headlocks him, yanks his head off and he's like, don't think that's going to stop me. And then he's like, then he comes out. And for that part, I wrote pan hands. Cause
pan hands.
Yep, he's got pan hands. And he's just running around waving them, smashing through shit, while there's just the most generic sound effect screams in the background. They're like stock sounds. It's like putting a Wilhelm scream and I wouldn't be able to like tell the difference, you know?
That's true. And everyone's just like, I imagine them on set, because obviously you don't get the background music on set, it just goes, right, and action, and everyone's running around, but because they do all the sound in post, they're all running and they're just going...
Right, like
fake screaming in terror. There's nothing coming out. They're just like sprinting around about the place. Someone like knocks into a chair and they're like, right, we can't have that sound in there. Reset. We need to go again. And that just sounds like a nightmare. But like, you can clearly tell they've like obviously CG'd the top of his neck to like the stumpy little whatever it is.
Yeah, where like the mannequin head would pop.
Did he have pan hands on set? The Confidential didn't touch on that. We also watched Doctor Who Confidential for this. We probably should have mentioned that. I mentioned it in the intro. What am I talking about?
Aha, full circle. It was it was a joke. Because you made a joke about it in the intro when you said that.
I made a joke about it.
This is the punchline
I
right
have to
now.
make a joke about it in the intro now.
Haha, look smooth.
You just set me up.
So smooth.
You just set me up.
Seamless transitions. This is how it
I
goes.
haven't
This is
recorded the
showbiz,
introduction
kiddo.
yet. I haven't done the introduction yet. I
It's
haven't
fine.
recorded the
Don't worry
introduction.
about it.
Now I have to make a joke in the
Yep.
introduction.
And it has to be funny.
Shit.
Yeah.
Bin.
Get someone else to make it then.
I'm going to go in the bin with Noel.
Get in that bin.
I'm going to do a podcast from the bin with Noel. That's what I'm going to call it, In the Bin with Noel. It's like comedians in cars getting coffee, but instead it's
In
like
the bin
Tyrese in the bin with Noel.
Rose used the TARDIS then. She
She
sees
runs
it
outside
for the first time.
and she does like 3 laps around it. She's like, and like she does like a few laps around it. Does she run in, go back out, and then run around it again before running in, and then the music starts?
Yep. And when she
Okay.
goes in, when she sees the TARDIS for the first time, they play a little bit of the Doomsday theme when she
Do
looks
they?
in there. It's just little.
They do the vocals.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's just they do like a
Do they?
little touch on that.
I'm gonna rewatch that.
Have you seen She-Hulk yet?
No.
Never mind.
I'm a bad person.
Oh.
Yeah.
There's a bit. It's like a bit in that where they do like a little musical flourish.
In fact, I clearly didn't notice it was Doomsday, but I have written a note that says good music when Rose enters the TARDIS. But I think that most all of what Murray Gold has done
Is
musically
flawless
in this series
That's-
is amazing.
Yeah, it's not flawless.
I
I can't
think,
think of any flaws, but
Like
you know.
since we discussed doing this, I've been listening to some of it, and like I've just been walking down the street and being like, I am in my feels. I can
do
imagine
just have
episodes happening.
Yeah,
Like,
I do just have it in my libree, like a lot of those, and I want the
Doomsday
season
comes
10
on and I'm-
soundtrack more than anything.
Doomsday comes on and I'm like, fucking why?
Do you know what it's like, I was on my way to work one time and I was like looking through and I was like, what do I want to listen to? Shepherd's Boy, when Peter Capaldi's doing his How Many Seconds in Eternity speech.
Which episode is this from?
Heaven Sent.
Oh yes,
It's that the little bit at the end. It's
When he's
that
running away
sound.
from the hybrid thing.
Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
listening to that once when I was like walking to work because I was like proper pissed off about going to work. I was like, I think it was like a horrible like 9-hour shift or something. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't know if it's worth getting into later on now because we're in a Murray Gold thing, right? But I think that Donna's theme is so funny.
Is that the
As if she's not the most tragic woman. Yep.
We spiked so much on that just now. Oh,
But yeah.
I love it. It's so wacky. I'm like, that's.
It's the only word for it, isn't it?
She's like, but I think that we'll get to that in season 4.
Well, yeah.
We'll get to that in season 4.
We've got a whole plot to resolve. Yeah.
Yeah. She takes him being an alien very, very well. I know that she's heard this from Clive, that he, there's rumours that he could be an alien, or
She's
it could be a
already
thing that's passed
seen
down.
the Autons as well by this point. Like she's got some kind of like tolerance to freaky shit now, I guess.
Yeah, but not too much of it, which is why, like, she's barely even like, oh my god, what? She's just like, awesome.
Where would you draw the line of being surprised?
She has more of a reaction to the TARDIS moving than the fact that this man is from an actual other planet. She goes up to the house, she's like, oh my god, we've moved.
Realistically, he could have just done that in the other order. He could have just been like, let's go
We've
somewhere
moved
safe,
because
Rose.
yeah.
And then when she's like, how do we get here? He's like, surprise, I'm an alien as well. Ah, you think that's crazy? Get a load of this.
Yeah. And what is it that she says? Because she doesn't say like, because they obviously they always go, it's bigger on the inside, but doesn't she say it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside? Because I know they always try to tighten that up, don't they? They always try and be like, either they're going to take it in the other direction, or they're just going to say, oh, it's bigger on the inside.
I mean, yeah, I'm sure she says it's bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, or something. Oh, now I need to find out. Oh.
See, I wrote that Rose says Clive is mad, and next to it I just wrote, fair enough. Like, if I was taken into and this man was like, look, there's these 9 different peoples and they all live forever. Like, I'd be like, uh-huh. Which I know isn't exactly what he says. So before they move, as per my note, Mickey melts like good cheese right into the TARDIS console.
Yep. And you're just going to stand there and watch him melt.
and can I say, it is a really great performance of, no. Like, that's really convincing.
Yeah.
Like, it's super like, oh, You really care about this machine?
She says the inside's bigger than the outside.
Yeah.
And then he has that line as well that he says where he's like, the assembled hordes of Genghis Khan couldn't get through that door. And if I was Rose, I'd be like, who's Genghis Khan?
Yeah, I don't know history too well.
No.
If the doctor was like, where do you want to go in history? I'd be like, mate, I don't know. I really don't know history too good.
Do you think Rose does? Do you think Rose knows who Genghis Khan is?
We know that she's got no A levels, but she has got a bronze gymnastics certificate. So, who's to say, really?
Yeah.
I wrote here that the doctor is a bit of an arsehole.
Yeah,
In this next
he's
scene.
kind of mean.
He's a bit rude to Rose.
He has a tone about him.
He does, like, obviously earlier he's like, oh, you know, you're using logic to get to your conclusion. And then this time he's now, like, calling this stupid. He's like, Mickey might be dead and he's really not bothered. But, knowing what we know about the Doctor up to this point, which in this episode isn't much, they don't say much about the Time War in this episode at all, other than when he's being held by the Ortons.
They just mention it the once when he says...
And he's like, there was a war, I couldn't save everyone.
Yeah. Well, he says that the feeding planets or something were destroyed, right, in the Time War?
And the Nestine's like... like, doing all that. He does
his noises. And then...
by the way, Nicholas Briggs, our Dalek man.
Of course.
He's the Nestine fella. The Nestine fella. Anti-plastic, which...
Anti-plastic. The way he says it the second time is like, anti-plastic.
I might make a list of things the Doctor just has. Like, just solve it, like...
About.
Like, what's the one thing we would need to solve this? Anti-plastic. Oh, it's in my pocket right now. Okay.
Don't even worry about it.
Yeah, like, so I might just make a list of things that the Doctor just has. Yeah. No, I don't mind dumb things like that most of the time.
When you think about it in like a Mary Poppins' bag situation, it's like the Doctor's pockets.
That battered leather jacket.
I bet there's some things in there. I bet there's still a handful of like loose filters at the bottom as well. That are just proper dusty. I reckon that the Ninth Doctor would have a rolly like.
Just loose tobacco in his smelly leather jacket. Also, have that they run down. So there's, I don't know what episode or movie or whatever it's from. You know the famous picture of the Daleks on the bridge?
Westminster Bridge?
Yeah, but I don't know the episode that picture is from. Like that image specifically.
Dalek Invasion Earth? Because I know what the episode is. I know the one. I just can't remember what it's called, which is really bugging me.
But that is the bridge that they run across when trying to get to the Nestine consciousness. And I was like, oh, that must, like, it must be a little reference, right?
Yeah.
Like that must must be a thing.
Apparently it was like a bit of a nightmare to get that shot as well because of the bus.
Because of the buses?
They wanted a bus in the background.
I said it in the confidential. They wanted a bus in the background.
Yeah, so that to time it with the bus, the filming with the bus.
Oh, I thought that he was
sketch.
I thought that he was mad at the buses being in the background when we were watching the confidential. I was like, oh,
no, they were trying to time it because they wanted like it to be like, this is London, look.
What a nightmare that would have been.
Think how long does it take a fucking bus to go over a bridge, man?
Imagine if you knock up the shot and you're like, oh, I have to wait half an hour for the next lot of buses.
17 minutes, next one will be a lot.
And just as British culture goes, there's two of the motherfuckers. And I assume that only one of them was meant to be there. And you wait for one and one doesn't show up. And then you wait 20 minutes and then two show up and you're like, oh, this is just salt in the wound.
Yeah.
I like that when they go down into the Nestine hole, because I have no other name for this, into the Nestine hole, he lifts up the grate and there's a massive red light and a bunch of steam, and I was like, that is the most evil hole that you could put in. Like that, I actually have a note that just says that Nestine is hiding in a literal evil hole.
Yeah.
Like, I would look down there and go, there is something evil in there.
I would expect them to be doing like a Power Rangers in that basement.
A Power Rangers.
Yeah. Like, that's what's going on down there. With the smoke, the lights, the noise, you know, it's like... It's that whole vibe. Thing is, as well, before, when they go down and they're going through all of the things, they're like, oh, all the plastic will come alive. Because that London eye transmitter scene is really good.
I like that.
I love that. It's good.
I like it when the Doctor's like the smartest dude in the room, but also just an idiot.
Just dumb.
Like, he's just so stupid. And how many times does David Tennant's Doctor hit himself in the head because he's thick? Yeah. He's just like, I'm so thick. I'm thick. Yeah. And I love it. I just like it when he's like, I'm so clever, you're not. And then like a human will point something out and be like, I should have got that. Yeah. I really should have got that. But I didn't because I'm stupid.
Did you say a human will point something out?
Yeah, well, he's not human, is he?
We're all the same.
but he's
Don't be
not.
racist.
He's got 2 hearts.
Yeah.
What do you think of the attack? The attack scene before we get to the very end of the Nestine being absolutely crumbled.
That everything about Rose swinging.
We're not there yet. I'm about the attack in the shopping centre.
I'll tell you this.
What do you think about that?
I
will
think
get to that.
about that Jackie does an absolute perfect psycho
scream, like
yeah,
the proper
it's
like
it's dead
like
on.
she-
It's so good.
yeah,
She
no.
sells it.
And it's a wedding dress coming out. Like, is it one of the brides?
Yeah. It's like the
on
brides break
yeah.
down the window.
Yeah, that is when we lose our man Clive.
R.I.P.
Rest in peace, Clive. One of my favourite things in this episode is that Clive looks at the shop dummies as they're moving, and he says something along the lines of, "I've read the stories, it's true."
Yeah.
Because of the classic episodes where these appear and they're just walking through the streets. And I was like, oh, it's just really nice to be like, oh, they're referencing like classic Who as well. Like being like, this has happened before. It's all canonically.
Imagine that in the like someone comes up to you and they go, everything you believed you were right, and then shoots you in the head.
Ah, no.
You just get that 1 second to be like, oh, I was right, and then you immediately die.
Clive's like, you were gonna karate chop a girl earlier. Can you not just like bluntly karate chop me, please? I like the idea that someone has lived through both of these, and someone's like, oh, did you see in the streets there was shop dummies attacking everyone in 2005? And some old lady's like, again, this is the second time this has happened in my lifetime, and that's not a normal thing.
One of the things that I like the most about Russell T Davies' Doctor Who is just purely that I'm like, yeah, these are things that actually happen. They have like a consequence. Like,
yeah,
people will talk in later seasons about like that time a spaceship crashed through Big Ben, and you know what, right? If that just happened tomorrow, no one would ever shut up about it, right? Because it's fucking insane.
Remember that time when like it was just, I mean, Journey's End.
Yeah.
We'll get
27 planets in the sky. You'd be
will.
like, that was the most insane acid trip of my life.
Yeah, that's true.
The whole planet just fucking collectively did DMT or some shit. And, you know, like, what is this? It's insane.
No, I like it when there's continuity and things like this.
Yeah.
Which Russell T Davies, like his first, you know, it's his only run on this, but soon it won't be. I'm excited.
Yes.
But it will, you know, he'll come back to it. But his continuity is really good. He's constantly going back to Earth, and I'm really looking forward to that. Like, he's constantly like, okay, Boomtown, we'll go back to Earth, we'll see what's going on, we'll see what's kicking.
Yeah, well, like, I mean, obviously more so in season 2, when it feels like Jackie becomes more of like an honorary companion. I think that it's easier to care about a companion when it's like, okay, so now they have a reason to go back to Earth. Because it's like,
she gets a good amount in this. I mean, your Father's Day.
Oh yeah. It's just like,
I'm gonna
cry.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry during Father's Day.
I don't care about Clara because I hate her, but like
we'll get to it. We'll get to it.
Don't worry about it. But like the thing is, right? It's not like I know that she has. I mean, I know she does have a family. I know they show them and stuff. But like ultimately, right? If she is in danger, it's not like when Rose is in danger, and I'm like, oh God, what about Jackie and Mickey and all those people? You know, who she has in her life. What about her mate Shireen? Oh no. But like when Clara's in this situation like that, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, she's gonna be fine.
Like, if you die,
you know, like
I like the danger here. We'll go back inside the evil hole.
Yeah.
Like
in the Nestine hole.
Yeah, the Nestine hole. I like the danger in this bit. They grab the Doctor. He's actually panicked. He's kind of spooked. He's fighting, which is something that another Doctor doesn't do whenever she is captured. I was like, oh, I can't even make it like...
You can't even be sneaky about it.
No, because there's only one female Doctor, and whenever she's captured, she's like, I'm gonna be cocky. She's never once.
Oh, is it Jo Martin?
She's also really cocky constantly.
That's true.
Which is and I like that as a quality of the Doctor, but sometimes danger has to feel real. And in this case, it
does.
Like it really does. It's like, oh, they're just gonna toss him in there whenever. Like they find the antiplastic, don't they? And he's like, that was just insurance. I wasn't. That's not my goal here.
I mean, like, there's a version of the story that you can do where Mickey dies here, right?
That would have been all right.
Like, I'm sort of like,
however,
as
no,
a character, I'm glad he doesn't, but like...
I take that back, yeah. I like that his...
Oh, yeah, no, like, I'm very happy for Mickey's contribution to the plot and stuff, but like, I feel like that you could tell a version of this that ends the same way, where he dies here.
I mean, except for the bit where he ends up with Martin, it feels like, they're the two people who are, you know, people of colour that are in the show, so let's just put those...
They can go together.
That's not...
I don't even think that the way they are characterised originally make sense together. No.
But for this, them fighting and Rose doing the gymnasticsy, the little speeches, got no A levels, got no job,
GCSEs.
no GCSEs, no nothing, and then she like grabs the chain and just swings. She says she has to save him, and Mickey's like, just leave him. Like, Mickey's response is, no, just like, don't do that, just leave him to die. I was like, when I was watching it this time around and like thinking a bit more about what was going on rather than just being like, haha, funny box show. I like the idea that that's That's Rose having to like prove herself as a companion. That's when the Doctor is like, okay, this like I could easily travel with her.
That's the difference between Mickey and Rose.
But I made a note of like,
eyes.
if the Doctor hates or dislikes anything, it is cowardice. Like, he just doesn't like it. Mickey has always been the, I don't want to be doing it, and you see that whittle away. You do see him like properly. You know, he comes out of his shell and he starts being brave at like different points, and it's subtle, and I like it, which is why I'm kind of glad you didn't die now, because it's what's called giving a character, which is a person you have in a TV show, an arc, which sort of disappears around season 11, but that's fine.
Because it'll come
I'm
back.
I'm gonna be so salty, but
it'll come back in season 13, though, so that's all right.
Do you think? It's been a while since you saw Flux.
No, I mean, I know Flux is season 13, but in my mind that's like
Flux
Doctor
is a
Who
special.
Flux.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, Russell T Davies
okay,
is going
right.
to make Doctor Who great again.
I was like, are you defending Flux right in front of me? Because that's not okay.
We'll get to it.
I'm gonna genuinely try and find things I like about that when it happens, but it's it is what it is.
I think we have different opinions about Flux, so I'm excited
Probably.
to talk about it.
I wrote there's a lot of like Dutch canted angles in the final invasion. There's like the camera goes from being head on to just being like tilted all the time, and I was like, this is that and the babe thing. Sugar, babe, sweetheart, sugar, babe, and the pitch of his voice changes when that happens. Strange. And like those two bits of editing, I'm like, I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't hate it. But it's fine.
My disliked piece of editing is right at the end of the episode. I know I'm jumping a bit, but like it's right at the end of the episode.
That's fine.
It's when Rose runs into the TARDIS.
Slow motion.
But it's not quite.
It's like choppy.
It's almost slow motion, and it's so annoying. It's just like, mate,
it's really laggy.
Do you one or the other? She's buffering.
It's very. She's buffering into the TARDIS. That is very of its time, though. I remember that effect being around a lot. If you go back and watch some shows, like that is there quite a bit. Mickey travels in the TARDIS here, and I mentioned this to you in the episode, like when we were watching it. Like I forgot that.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I always I don't think it's this season that he travels with them at all. Other than this once, or Boomtown?
Boomtown doesn't count technically because
he's just charging
with them.
it.
He's
charging it on the Rift, isn't he?
Yeah, Mickey goes to Cardiff to meet Rose separately, and then she leaves him there. So it's like running into your mate at the pub and then staying for them with a drink and then going somewhere else in it.
But he does travel in the TARDIS here, which is fine. We are gonna do a death toll of sidekicks. We've got sidekicks and companions. Companions are people who have travelled in, you said time, it has to be, was your...
Time or space.
Yeah,
I feel like...
Mickey becomes an official companion in this episode.
Oh, wait, no, yeah,
Not
sorry, we did this. Oh, yeah, although I feel like we can
you said on a trip with the
like
Doctor.
you do an adventure.
Yeah, you do an adventure.
Yeah, you can't just like take the TARDIS like a bus. You have to go to a place with the Doctor, have an adventure, have an event occur, fix the problem or whatever. If you die doing it,
life threatening. It has to be life threatening, otherwise you didn't do an adventure with the Doctor.
Yeah.
But yeah, that gets you the promotion from sidekick to companion. So Mickey stays the sidekick here.
You know what? Short trips actually, because I'm gonna say if you are a brief sidekick in an episode, and the Doctor's like, let's just nip back in time for like a little bit.
That also counts
as making you a companion.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay.
Actually, I'll figure out the logistics of this later.
Interesting.
Either way, no companions are dead yet.
No.
But one of our sidekicks is, and that's Clive.
R.I.P. Big boy.
Please don't call Clive Big Boy.
Taken too soon.
God, 37 minutes in. It was harrowing. We met him 23 minutes in.
Are those the timestamps?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Just making this up.
I'd be really impressed if they were, though.
I wouldn't.
You called it?
I'd be afraid. I'd be like, why have I done this to myself?
How about let's talk about how Rose just absolutely
Abandons
fucks
Mickey.
him off. Just absolutely
Oh my God.
brutal.
That's rough. That is like insanely rough.
Thanks. And he's like, for what? And she's like, exactly. Or whatever it is that she says.
Yeah, which is, imagine being like, yeah, you've done nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
also,
leaving you
do
now.
you know what else she does that's really mean, which like feeds into this whole question I have?
That would be a breakup. Like in
What?
my
Yeah.
brain, like that is a breakup. That's not like a, oh, she's coming back at some point.
Yeah,
if
I'd be
some
like,
girl, if a girl said that to me and she ran off into a box and the box literally vanished in front of my
disappeared
face,
in front of my eyes.
I would be like, okay, I guess we are
Yeah,
through.
I'm single now.
It's not like a, we're gonna take a break. It's like, no.
We'll work things
I
out
think
when
we
she
need
gets
some.
back.
I think we need some space. No, I think I need some space. Goes to the end of the earth, quite literally, in the next
Goes
episode.
to watch your imminent heat death.
Yeah, goes to watch
with
the earth
her
burn,
new man.
and she's like, Mickey was down there somewhere.
You ever been so mad? No, but it's my whole thing about how she's so mean to him for no reason. Because earlier, when she goes down into the Nestine hole, right, and she runs over to him, she finds him, and the first thing she says to him is, "You're stinking."
Is that the first thing
That's
she says?
the first thing she says to him. She goes, "You're stinking."
But when the doctor's like, when she's like, wait, is he alive? And he's like, I don't know. And she's like,
Actually.
he could be dead. Have you got the whole script there?
Yeah.
Where did you find this?
On a website called Doctor Who Transcripts.
I feel like you visited this website multiple times before today.
Yeah, I've been a patron of this site for years.
Wait, it's actually a Patreon-driven thing.
No, it's not a Patreon.
I was going to say, if this is a Patreon-driven and you're paying for this, then
No.
that's fine. I'm not going to judge you. But like, damn, that's dedication to the cause.
Oh no, it's before this.
This is not a podcast studio.
Oh wait, she runs downstairs and she says, "Oh God, Mickey, it's me. It's okay. It's all right." And then he says that thing down there, that liquid rose, it can talk, and she says, "You're stinking."
I mean, I can't smell him, but he probably does smell bad.
Smelly boy.
He probably doesn't smell ideal.
What do you, I mean?
What do you reckon he smells like?
In that moment, melting plastic
I was gonna say that. I reckon he smells like a
and sweat, probably
Like
a
a-
mixture.
yeah, like when someone just flings a plastic garden chair into a bonfire, and you're like, why? No, you can't be doing that. And the smoke
Yeah.
goes black, and you're like, oh, we're about to die.
This is the end. I reckon Matt Smith, as the Doctor, was completely hairless. Like the 11th Doctor.
Like all the way. I mean, wait, he's
The only hair
naked,
that-
isn't he?
the
In
only-
the Time of the Doctor, and he is hairless. From what I remember, he's got
The
like
only
no
that
body
man
hair.
has is on his head.
Not even then. It's a wig. Remember? He hides
Yeah.
the key under there. So Rose runs into the TARDIS, and then the episode goes, and
No. Yeah.
then it says next time.
What did you think about that next time
Of the
trailer?
next time trailer, I like it. I think it is a.
Yeah,
I
sorry.
think it's a perfectly
That's
okay.
entirely valid.
I think it's a perfectly okay next time trailer. I don't think there's anything like, oh my god, I need to watch this. But I think those ones, the ones that like make you want to watch something, are normally the ones that show something a bit more high stakes. But I don't think that in a series of 13 episodes, you can really give that in a second episode. You can't be like, next
Yeah.
time, big high stakes. You have to be like, next time, a fun romp.
Not unless you're like
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, you know?
Yeah, well, Game of Thrones does its job of going, oh, you think that these are all main characters and we will literally kill any of these at the drop of a hat. Go on, blink,
they
I
will.
dare you. And you have to go like, oh, literally anything can happen. But Doctor Who's not one of those shows. I wish it was. I would love to see a mid-season regeneration just to mess with people.
Yep.
I think that would be great.
I would enjoy that a lot, actually.
Can you imagine if in...
I remember discourse about it on Tumblr.
Can you imagine if
back
in like...
the day.
What is it? Stolen Earth, I think it's called, or something. A Journey's End, that
Yes.
two-parter. Can you imagine if when he was shot by the Dalek,
He just actually regenerated.
Matt Smith came out, you'd be like, what?
I also think, I mean, at least in that situation, that one specifically, it would have been fun to have Russell T Davies actually write Matt Smith for a bit. Like, I know he does in that one episode of the Sarah Jane Adventures, but like,
Yeah,
if you really did it for like an episode, that'd be good, I think.
No, I think that could have gone well. Next time trailer out of 10.
What did you, out of 10?
Out of 5. We're
Out
doing out of 5.
five.
We discussed this.
Yes.
Out of 5, but
What
we
did
are
you
doing
think?
decimals, which is basically out of 10, but not quite out of 10.
Shut up.
Alright.
It's fine. What did you give it? What was your number?
3.5 is what I gave it.
I also gave it 3.5.
Oh, cool.
I think it's cool, but at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of aliens in it.
But I don't think it's bad.
No, I don't think it's bad. I still want to watch it.
I think there are some next time trailers that would make me go, oh.
No.
And not just because I know what's coming up because I've seen them all, but looking at you, loving monsters. Sun is shining in the sky. There ain't a cloud inside. It's not raining. Everybody's in.
Episode rating.
Episode rating.
What'd you give it?
I give it a 4 out of 5.
I give it 4 out of 5.
Hey!
No way.
By the way,
let's
for the ratings, we haven't told each other these
No.
before the recording. At least for the episode, we discussed the next time one, and then we discussed whether we do it out of 5 or 10, and then so now 4 out of 5. I just think that as a first episode of a series, it does everything it needs to.
Yep.
And not everything's done extremely well, but it's better than I would have expected back in the day.
I think that the only questions that I have at the end of this episode are the ones I'm supposed to have that will be resolved, throughout the rest of the season.
Yeah.
I also think that I get a good idea of who everyone is. I'm excited to
It does
see the
do
next
a
one.
good job of being like, here's these people, and and every one of them has a believable background.
Yeah, like I feel like these people all exist outside of the show.
It's really subtle, but there's so much clean TV now where like you'll go into someone's apartment and it's clean all the time, and like you go into like Jackie's flat and it's
Rose's
a tip.
bedroom is an absolute shit tip.
It is. No, like really. I know that
Like
she's 19.
it's minging.
But sort that out.
And I know that because it looks like my bedroom. But I'm like,
put that out
yeah,
in a public forum.
she's 19 and she's a mess.
I think I actually have a note that says Rose's bed is massive.
Right?
Like her bed is huge.
It's bigger than just a double, right?
But just her, I think so.
Or is it like support?
Or is she just a tiny lady?
To be fair, I'm pretty sure Billie Piper is small.
Is she?
Oh yeah, I think she's like only like 5'4" or something.
Oh.
She's
Me
not.
too. That's the problem.
She's not big.
Wait, legit, I think I actually am 5'4". That's so sad. I'm not the same size as Billie Piper.
Oh my god, I don't know.
I mean, it's Google, so
Can we
the camera adds 8 feet.
We should go as the Doctor and Rose for for Halloween, except you have to be Rose.
Oh, I don't think you realize how down I would be for that. Like, I would totally.
That'd be great.
I would totally go as Rose.
How tall is Billie Piper? Do you know do you know the conversion?
How many meters is she?
1.65.
She is 1.65. Oh, she's way taller than me. Oh, no. That is 5.41 feet.
5.4. Oh yeah, 5.41.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was slipping out of my head.
So me and Billie Piper are around the same height, and as a woman of showbiz, I imagine she probably wears heels pretty often, and so Billie Piper is taller than me. I'm just gonna give in. What did we learn from Rose? That Billie Piper is taller than me.
Look at that laugh that I just did there. I laugh like some kind of like giant from like a fantasy game or something. It is a proper.
You do like the Five Nights at Freddy's, when Golden I was like.
No, I don't know. I don't
That's
know
you.
because I've never played Five Nights at Freddy's. Anyway, sorry I have a horrible laugh. Fuck you.
I don't think anyone is listening. I was gonna say cares and then realised is listening. Next time, it's the end of the world.
Yeah,
That's
man.
episode 2 of season 1.
Wait.
We have to rewatch so much Doctor Who. I don't know why we both keep saying this like it's daunting. It's literally our favourite show. It's literally our favourite TV show of ever, and we're like
not more of the show that I've spent 18 years of my 19 years.
You're 23, and you started watching it when you were 6.
Yeah.
17.
17
years of your life.
17 years of my life.
Wow, those 8 maths exams really didn't go very far, did they?
No, that's why I did them that many
That's
times.
why I did it 8 times.
It wasn't just because I couldn't count. It was because I was bad at it when I tried.
Anyways, I'm going to edit this down to just the best and funny bits. So this has been a good minute and a half.
Yep.
And
Really interesting thoughts we had there.
Not very, but I don't care.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.